another episode of Got It Together. Listen, we want to welcome our new subscribers. Thank you so much, guys, for subscribing to this channel. And remember, listen, if you listen to one of our episodes and you put your thinking cap on, listen, we want you to hit that like button and also share. Let's get into our topic, but before we do that, you know how we do. We got to check in with everybody.
Well, wait a minute now. We would be remiss if we didn't mention our sixth woman at the table.
Yes.
And our sixth woman at the table today is at Carla7657. She commented on our aging episode. Carla, we thank you so much and appreciate your comments. Keep on commenting, girl. You're the sixth woman at the table and you got a lot to say. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Carla.
So how was the weekend for everybody? The week?
It was amazing. I just want to jump in because
Oh,
I'm still on my high.
jump on in.
I'm still on my high. I just came back from Paris.
We
Oui, Mama Joy. It was amazing. It was amazing. Everyone has to go. You know how you always say you got to go to the beach to have a good day and a refreshing day. You got the sun shining. You got the warm sand underneath your feet. Well, when we went, it was a little cold, but it was refreshing and it was cool. It was a good day. We wasn't hot, but it's so beautiful, especially the museums, the Louvre, the Eiffel Tower, the Versailles, like all of those are just amazingly beautiful. Like if you can see the architecture in these museums are overwhelming. Wow. They have this one room called the Hall of Glass, I believe it is. When I say they have chandeliers throughout the whole room, it is amazing. Wow. That's my inspiration for my next venue. Oh. Yeah. But it is so nice. It is so nice. I mean, the people were nice as well. And the food, oh, did y'all want to know about food?
Wait a minute.
Okay.
The food.
So the food was amazing.
How was it trying to communicate with the locals and all?
Well, you always, out of respect, have to say bonjour or bonsoir. Right? So they, outside of that, that's enough for them because most of them are bilingual. So yeah, it helps. It helps, yeah. And they're very nice. Oh, but they're driving? Oh, it looked like you're gonna get in an accident any second. When I tell you they are driving like this over top of each other, and that's how they drive. They're so courteous. Like you can come basically like this. They're like, oh, go ahead. Even when you have the bicyclists and the motorcycles, they coming so close. I mean, they literally coming close, and they don't hit anything. We be like, how? Y'all not hitting anything. That is crazy. When I tell you the driving there is like, it makes New York look like a Southern county.
Okay.
She said a Southern county.
A Southern county.
That is definitely not what New York is, so we know that must be pretty crazy.
Right? Oh my gosh, yes. But there's so many cafes on every corner. They're so accommodating. It was very nice. The shops were amazing. Of course, we stopped at the Gucci and the Louis and everything. They had so many nice stores as well. So I just advise we have to do a girls trip.
Hey.
Why not? Y'all heard that,
right? The girls trip.
So we're going to do a girls trip to Paris.
To Paris.
On D.
Okay.
All right, while you get your coin together, let's talk about this topic this week. Okay, so we're going to be talking about something that is a little bit challenging for everyone. How to deal with prickly people, right? How to deal with that nagging Nancy. How to deal with that itchy sweater that, you know, it was really pretty when you put it on, but all day long you're just scratching and scratching and scratching. It just don't make you feel good. How do we deal with those types of people?
Ooh, they're challenging.
A lot of prayer.
A lot of prayer. I think, you know what? I think the one thing to remember is the prayer is very important. But the characteristics about that individual that brought you together. Okay. You know, if you really concentrating on that, because then you can speak to that with the person, you know. But I think that sometimes emotionally and mentally, you have to really be careful with dealing with people like that. You have to come back, and you have to know when to come back, you know, to just draw back from them. But I think that the most important thing would be, yeah, to pray and know the characteristics about that individual and why you are even in a relationship with them, and then cover your mental health.
That's a really good point. So it kind of makes me think, like, what characteristics, now that, I mean, we're old enough and mature enough, we're not kids. And I know back in childhood, you know, we kind of put our kids together with friends, right? You know, we match them up based off of age, based off of living in the same neighborhood. But now that we're older and we can make that decision for ourselves, how do we decide what types of individuals we like to be around? Like, what are those characteristics that you just find that are like, oh my God, you are on my nerve?
Accountability.
Okay.
When someone's not accountable for their actions, you know, either good or bad, like just take one for the team. Just live up to, own up to what you've done or what you didn't do. You know what I mean? That speaks volumes. And someone who's not a liar, you know what I mean? Don't lie. Don't lie to try to cover, again, your hiney, you know what I mean? Same difference, you know, being a liar and not taking accountability is the same thing, but it's just, those are the things that just tick me off when you don't, you know, I expressed that in another episode, but that's just so, it's daunting to me. I just don't like it, and it just, that for me is not a good thing.
Yeah, and I mean, lying, oh God, that one is a huge one, right? Yeah. I mean, because if a person is a liar, you just start to really wonder, can I trust anything that you say? Can I trust anything that you've said? You know, so those are some biggies. What else is anybody else thinking as far as those?
I don't like a control, well, not don't like, but it's hard for me to deal with a controlling personality type, like someone is almost a bully, tries to make you do the things that they would do them, and deem that to be the only way that things can be done, when there are obviously so many ways of getting to the goal. We don't all have to do it the same way. We're not all cookie cutted. God made us all as individuals for a reason, right? So that we can do things in various ways. But what I try to do with each and every person that I deal with, I try to deal with them in love, you know, realizing that they're not perfect, I'm not perfect, I screw up, they screw up, we all screw up, so just try to deal with one another in love. That's what I try to do,
right?
You know, just to
So Donna, what are some of the characteristics that annoy you?
For me, I think I'm pretty much in line with Janita as well. I don't like people that try to bully you into stuff, like aggressive type people. Want you to do what they do, you know, instead of being your own individual person. And another one will probably be like an elitist type person, somebody who kind of comes in and thinks that they're,
like that.
Yeah, that
like a Pharisee.
Yeah, exactly, yes. So those characteristic traits I really,
because that often comes off as them thinking they're better than, you know, and we are all, again, equal. God looks at us equally. We are all equal, and we're all, again, like I always say, fearfully and wonderfully made, right? And it's wonderful to be different. You know, it's all right. It's all right to be different, and we shouldn't be ostracized for our differences. You know, so with that type personality, they tend to look at you in a way where they think they are better than, as if you are somehow
beneath them.
Yeah.
And that, you know, one of the things I was thinking about is, you know, individuals who are always talking about other people. So we're in our company and we're having a good time, and even at the lunch table, you know, that you just have to talk about other people.
Negatively.
You know, so if you're not a part of that, you know, then you're looked at as being, you know, well, you're not on my side, so to speak. What's wrong with you?
And Tanya, you know what, with people like that too, even if that's not your personality type, the gossipy type of person, what tends to happen is they draw you in. They try to draw you into being that type of individual. You have to really, really be strong in your own conviction to be able to just pull yourself away from it. You know, and not get involved with it. And then what you'll find happening is they won't even come to you with it.
Exactly.
Because you're not joining in. They don't even come.
That's just allowing the Holy Spirit to really, to feed you into those different convictions that I'm not talking about anybody trying to tear them down. That's not what I'm here to do. If anything, you know, we should be building each other up, right? Praying for each other, you know. But you know, that characteristic of people, because again, I think it just makes them feel good about themselves. You know, you could project on something else and not own your own stuff.
It's so
And a
much
lot of
easier.
times,
So much easier.
Yeah, it is. And you know what? Even in the workplace, right? They can always go. People like that can always go into like your supervisor and everything and say what you're not doing, you're not doing, you're not doing. But in the meantime, they have shortcomings of their own that they don't want anybody to focus on. So therefore, they pushing everything off on you. It's a sense of deflection. So those type of people are really.
So I think one of the
difficult to deal with.
characteristics that bother me is a woe is me person. Like I'm sorry, that.
Oh boy.
The woe is me person who, you know, is always went, you know what I mean? There's never anything right. Nothing can ever go right. And for my personality, I'm, you know, let's go, let's get it together, let's fix it, let's make it work. So when a person like that is a friend to me, I really can't tolerate it. So it gets to the point where I see their name come up on my phone and I'm like, oh no, I'm not answering. I'm not answering because I can't deal with that. My goal is to uplift, encourage, and inspire you. So if we're on the phone and you're sharing with me your struggle and I'm trying my best to help to uplift, encourage, and inspire, don't just call me to vent, because I'm not going to answer your call. Just put it out there, being 100% honest. I will not answer you, and you're going to wonder why I didn't answer you, but that's the reason. Because I feel like we all have so many things to be grateful for. So even in the midst of life, I mean, we can all sit here and just on how much stuff we have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. But if someone is trying to help lighten your load, and you always have a reason why you can't do that, no, that won't work for me. I tried that before. You know, it's just like that, me and that person is probably not going to really work out too well. So in the way I try to handle that, outside of just ignoring the call, when I do take the call, because sometimes I take the call because God will convict me like, Sarita, take the call. So sometimes I do take the call. But this is the battle that we have in my head when it happens. It's like, and I have to be at a certain place in order to take the call because I don't want to also come across as aggressive or not caring. But what I do is after, you know, I share the way that I am because I'm assuming you're calling me for the reason because you know how I am. But I try to love believes the best though. You know, like, I try to realize like, okay, well, this person really doesn't recognize that they are so blessed. Like they have not identified the fact that there could be so many worse things happening in their life. So I have to then, you know, get off the phone with them and then I just have to go into, you know what, that's cool. I mean, love believes the best. I know that right now things may look bad for that person, but I hope by what I said that they feel a little bit better about their situations.
I think that's good. And one of the things I was thinking about while you were talking is protecting your mental health as well, protecting your peace of mind. And that's very important. And I'm glad that you're open to the, you know, the Spirit of the Lord to lead and guide you in that direction. Okay, no, pick up the phone now, you know, because you know you got enough in you to be able to handle whatever that call, you know, has.
And a lot of that does have to do with how much I have in me at that time. So if it's later on in the evening, you're probably not going to get answered because, you know, my day is depleted. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like my grace and mercy is like coming down to the end of the tank. So it's like, I'm not giving it to you. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be rude, but you're not getting the last of my grace. Yeah, exactly. I got kids. So they can get the rest of the grace and mercy for the day, but you're not going to get it. So it does take that self-awareness that, you know, now is probably not a good time. If you call me in the morning, or maybe I'll call you back in the morning, then we can have a conversation.
Well, see, I have to get better at that. I'm sorry.
But then you know what it also
You take the call.
It creates a boundary.
Yes.
You know, like people aren't going to be able to drain you of everything that you have in your tank. Because you've created a boundary for them, and they'll get to see that. Prayerfully, they'll get to realize, oh, she's not answering my call. Maybe I should concentrate on being grateful about something. You know, like, you know, we really focus a lot of times on the wrong thing. When we have so much, like you said, to be grateful for. You know, when God wakes us up each and every morning, that is a reason to be grateful. If we are breathing and we can do things on our own, that is grateful. If we just focus on the things that God has done for us in each and every moment, we wouldn't be worried about all the other stuff that we lack.
And I mean, there's so much, you know, in this conversation about, you know, prickly people and, you know, just dealing with the spirit of offense, right? Because I feel like we get offended by those people, right? Those personality traits kind of offend us. You know what I mean? Donna, the person who's like a bit aggressive for you, you just get a little bit offended by it. You know what I mean? And then Janita, when you're talking about somebody who's trying to have you do things that, you know, whoa, you can do it as well. It's a spirit of offense that's coming in. And then D, when you're talking about that accountability piece, it's an offense. So what happens is I want us to transition to offense. Offense is like a low-lying state right before we get to anger, right? So that's why the Lord doesn't want us to have a spirit of offense because it's like right before anger. So you're not at the point where you're like, but you're at the point where you're like,
Okay, we go again.
Let me just take a deep breath because in this world that we're in, with so much going on, like we're constantly being offended. Every single day, we're offered offense. And it's up to us not to take it. So once we unfortunately get to that place where we are offended, how do we handle that?
I kind of shy away. I can't deal with it, so I just shy away from it. So, okay, all right. And I just slowly back out of the room or slowly get off the phone or just slowly, you know what I mean? Because I'm like, I can't get on your energy. That energy cannot.
That's honest.
That energy cannot.
So I had a situation at work once where a woman came to me and she told me, she's like, Janita, I hope everything is okay because I hear all of the chitter chatter. So meaning that somebody's saying something about me. I did not feed into it. I didn't feed into it because I'm like, nope. What the enemy wanted me to do was say what they say, you know, so that I could get myself all twisted and have my day be all hung up and mess with what people said. But what God reminded me of is what they said about me is not my business if they didn't say it to me.
That's right.
So I didn't even, I may have been offended initially by it. Of course I was offended. Like what she mean? Who said what?
Right.
You know, and then I also had to remind myself, if my bosses and my managers ain't coming to me about it,
Everything
I'm
is
good.
good.
Let them talk amongst themselves. The end.
That is so
So
true.
it wasn't my business.
Right.
It just wasn't my business.
Right.
I think I'm learning to get like that because for so long I carried offense when people do stuff because I always, describe myself as just being too nice, overly nice, because I want people to be happy. I want people to, to like me. As I was thinking about Donna, like she gonna take that call and know that it may be one of them calls that, I shouldn't have did. But you're gonna take it.
I should have ate first.
Exactly.
And some low sodium chips or something. That's another episode you gotta check out.
Exactly. So I'm learning now to talk up for myself, and if I don't like something, if it doesn't feel right, or something you said was offensive, I want to be able to say, wait a minute, hold up, because you just said this to me. What did you mean by that? Because I always want to get an understanding first and foremost, because we got to definitely be careful about walking in a fence where people may not have meant, anything by it. So I want to make sure that I heard you correctly, and then be able to deal with the situation at hand. I think that's very important, so that I don't hold that on to myself. I'm not feeling, bad about myself or anything like that.
That's excellent. I mean, that's really good. And I'm also thinking about offense on the level of, the person who jumps in front of a parking spot and takes it from us, right? Like those little daily offenses. And Dee, I know personally for you, an offensive thing is when a person texts you without a greeting. Like that's something that really, that bothers Dee. Salutations are everything.
Is it important to you guys? Salutations?
Salutations,
Leave a
please. Say a salutation all the time. I don't know why, because my mom taught me that. You never walk into a room without greeting someone. You never not say hello or goodbye, or you do not, and I grew up like that. So it's like, oh, y'all know that too. Y'all mama told y'all that too, And for me, I'm expecting that everybody knows. This is not a hidden secret. My mom ain't do it just for me, So for it not to be done, I find it offensive.
Wow.
I really do.
So that's in the
It burns
emails
me
as
up.
well? Like when you get emailed? Or, okay.
Yeah, me, I always start, what's today? Monday, or any typical day, like, oh, I hope you're having a marvelous Monday. I hope you're having a terrific Tuesday. I hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday. I hope you're having a thankful Thursday and a friendly Friday, period. Anything. Let's say about Saturday.
I like that.
I'm just saying, like, it's so fun because when you open up, you're like, oh, okay, great. You immediately know my energy is amazing. You're ready to read what I have to say because I done welcomed you into my space now. What would you like to hear me say? Now I know you're open to reading or hearing what I got to say.
Listeners, that's a nice little tip.
Yeah.
Especially if you're in business, that's a nice little tip.
Nice little tip. That'll
I mean, for
soften
me,
it.
I think something that's small like that, but I guess kind of big in our own minds, is when people don't respond to me. So like if I send a text message or an email and like it's crickets, it like offends me to the point where I'm like double checking, like, wait a minute, did I send it? Was it delivered?
Oh God, I must have
How
offended you a
long
lot.
ago did I send it? Okay, how long? And they still haven't responded. So like those little things can just start to brew offense in us, and we're like, what is that all about? Yeah. You know, and it really, it's bothersome. But you know how the Lord is, right? He always flips the mirror. He does not allow us to live in our ignorance.
And live in your beautiful bubble.
And my beautiful bubble of. So what I actually got from that not too long ago was a situation where someone didn't respond to a text message, and I tried to love believes the best thing, and then I resent the text message. So I couldn't love believes the best anymore because that was the second text message. So the first one I gave you, you were busy. You was busy. You didn't have time. You just didn't see the
number the same.
Right, change your number, you know. But then the second time I was like, So I kind of was getting in my feelings a little bit, and the Lord said to me, "Ooh, that's pride. That's pride. I just want somebody to respond to my text messages. How that's pride?" But the pride of it is that, like, do you really think that you're that important that people cannot not respond to you? Do you know how many people don't respond to me?
Whoa.
So I was like, whoa.
Come on, God, show up.
Yes.
Whoa.
It's like he always using the big shears on me. You know what I mean? Like, he'll use the little scissors. He be like whacking stuff that you like, all right, I guess they'll get back to me when they get a moment, huh? When they get around. Because if they don't even respond to you and you control the whole universe, why do I think they're going to respond to me? And all I want to know if you know, so.
Yeah, that's good.
I mean, I think, and kind of wrapping this episode up, that's what we have to take it to. We just have to recognize that, you know, a lot of our offense, a lot of things that, you know, we get offended by comes from a place of pride. You know, like we think that we shouldn't be treated in the way that we're being treated in, and kind of people are people. So it leads back to the title of, you know, loving people as is. You know, like don't try to make people exactly like us. People are who they are, and not to be easily offended, because what does the Bible tell us about the spirit of offense?
You gotta really be careful about the spirit of offense.
Right, and I mean, and if you think about what 1 Corinthians 13:4-5 says, it says, love is patient and kind. Love is not jealous or boastful or proud. Or rude. It does not demand its own way. It's not irritable, and it keeps no record of being wrong.
Keeps no record.
Keeps no record.
So ladies, I mean, I think this was a phenomenal episode. I mean, we got a lot out. We talked about some really powerful stuff that we don't think about too often because we just live life. And in this world that we're currently living in, there's so much offense going on every day. Social media allows there to be open gateways into our lives where people could just go and say what they want about us. So, you know, the spirit of offense is always there. It's a spirit, and, you know, we're offered it daily. So I guess for our viewers, what you need to know is just don't accept the spirit of offense, even when it comes your way, because it will be offered to you. So we just want to say, thanks for coming together to get it together. We got it together. And don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. We love you so much, and we'll see you next week.